Police arrested this man over the weekend after they say that they found him inside an apartment with a bunch of drugs around, along with a dead woman. Police went to Shoreline Drive Sunday when they say that a woman stated that she hadn't heard from her mother. The man inside would not open the door. They forced the door open. They said they found a man lying on top of a woman. That woman was later identified as 62-year-old Linda Lawson. Her cause of death is still under investigation. Police arrested 76-year-old Johnny Bullock, and they charged him with numerous drug offenses.
The quantity of drugs that was in the apartment, somebody was dealing drugs. So it's not personal use quantities that was recovered from this residence, so somebody was dealing drugs.
Police say they found a lot of evidence of drug use and drug trafficking inside this apartment, a number of cell phones. They say they found meth inside a glass pipe, along with 2 pounds of meth, 50 grams of heroin, and more than $3,000 in cash. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.